Hi everybody, welcome to the dungeon. My name is Robin and today is Flameworking 102.35. Today I have a kind of a quick bead to share with you all. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to make these spiral cane disc beads, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you how to make the cane first, and then we'll layer it up on a disc and melt it down. So if you're having issues practicing building your discs, then this might be perfect for you. So without further ado, I hope you're all doing safe and well out there. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the dungeon. All right, we're going to start out with the cane, and I am just going to use a base of clear, and this is like an 8 to 9 millimeter rod, so I'm building it up kind of quick. But you want to build up a nice, comfortable amount of glass and get your punty ready. I'm using just a regular mandrel for a punty right now. And I'm just going to grab the end of that ball and get it stuck to the punty, and then go ahead and heat the rest off. And if you need to add a little bit more, now's the time to do it. And then cast away. And before it cools down, I'm going to heat it up again, and that'll make the rounding out in this little marble mold nice and easy. If you don't have a marble mold, you can heat this in the flame and just roll it out a little bit on the graphite. And then what I'm going to do here is add my color, and I'm going to add this light sky blue, and I'm going to add it in 4 lines, trying to get them fairly even around. You don't have to be perfect with these. Each cane is slightly different. And I am just wrapping it from the top to the bottom, making sure it touches the mandrel. Or you can go from the bottom to the top, whichever one is easiest for you. And then I'm just going to take a second to make sure that that color is touching the mandrel there, so it will pull out nice and evenly. Okay, and then I'm going to give it a bit of a heat and focus some of my heat on just the top so I can pull that tip out and make it nice and even. And that kind of came out so I'm going to do it one more time. Heat that up and do kind of a cross pull. Pinch one end and then go in and pinch in the opposite direction and pull out. And then all of those lines should evenly flow to the bottom. And that'll make, again, the pulling of the cane much easier and more even with the color. So I'm just going to round it out a little bit more into kind of a football shape, and then bring my second punty out. Now the first punty is a little slightly thicker than the second one, which makes it a little bit more difficult. I recommend that you use the same size punties on both sides, because the smaller punty will start a tighter spiral than the thicker punty. So I'm kind of heating more on the left side. And what I'm doing here is doing a preliminary twist, just to get these colors twisted, the lines twisted nice and tight. And that's kind of the trick to a really tight spiral cane, is to start your twist in the flame and then come out and continue gently pulling and twisting and pulling and twisting. And that will go with my other canes that I just pulled a few minutes ago. And once we're done pulling, I'm just going to heat one side off, and we will use that in the bead. Okay, so for the bead, you can start out any way you want. You can use a clear base, a black base, a white base, whatever color you prefer. I'm going to try these with a black base. And what I'm going to do to start this disc out is just put a very small wrap of the black on my mandrel. Nothing big, just a very small spacer bead to start out with. And then we'll start, I'm going to do 5 wraps. So I'm really testing my disc building abilities here. So I'm going to start out with a wrap of this yellow. And when I get to the area where I'm overlapping, I just give it a quick twist and pull away. You know, it gives it a little bit more organic feel, but I don't mind that it's not a perfect match from one end to another. And then I'm going to heat that up a little bit and add my second wrap. And as you wrap these, it may not be perfect, so I'm using my mini mashers here just to kind of straighten things up for the next wrap. Don't let this cool down too much. It's thin glass, and it will tend to break if you are not paying attention to how cool that disc is getting. Okay, so this third one, I think the second one was a pink, and this third one is it's that evil purple. And I did have to encase this color in clear before I did my twist and pull. And then we'll straighten that up a little bit. Now, where the cane meets itself and wraps around, there might be a little bump, but it doesn't really seem to matter in these beads. All right, I have one more coming up after this one, and each wrap, you'll notice that as I'm wrapping these, I'm only heating up where the disc is touching underneath, like to make it sticky, and the cane itself. I'm not trying to heat too much of the center of the bead until I'm finished with the wrap, and then I'll give it a nice kind of insurance heat just to make sure it's nice and warm. And there it is so far. It's looking pretty good. And this final wrap, I was feeling bold, so I figured I'd add another wrap here. This is the sky blue that we did earlier, and each time you wrap, you'll notice you're using more and more cane. So make sure you have enough cane on your final wraps to get all the way around your disc. And they don't have to be all different colors. I just thought it would be fun to experiment with these different canes and to see if you know, you could see those colors deep down inside. And you can't really see it in these beads, but you can definitely see like the secondary colors. So I thought that was a lot of fun. And you can use just one single cane to make these too. It'll look really beautiful and give you these just really nice three-dimensional lines running throughout the whole bead. So what I want to do in the end here is to kind of encase the disc in a layer of clear, and that will help to protect the color from the cane underneath. And it will help to heat everything up nice and evenly and pull the bead out and give you that nice effect that we're going for. Now, getting around this final disc, it was a little crazy for me for a second because I thought I heard the disc break, but I was okay. I made it through. And there it is with all the layers. All right, so now it's just spending a lot of time heating things up. But the first thing I want to do is just get that clear hot and kind of you know, smoothed out a little bit, and then I'll come out and give it one final kind of squeeze with the mashers. And then literally this is about maybe 3 or 4 solid minutes of just heating in this angle, in this direction here, just right in the middle of the flame. And I will kind of heat the sides a little bit here and there, but I'm mainly just kind of holding as close as I can right in the front of the flame, so the clear glass wants to melt first and pull those canes out into the pattern. Now, I did get to a point where the whole disc at the mandrel started feeling very wobbly, so I will take it out of the flame for a little bit, just a few seconds to let it stiffen up, and then I'll go right back into the flame, into the front of the bead or the equator of the bead, and continue melting. And then here at the end, where things are getting really kind of hot, super hot, I am kind of almost doing a balancing act here. This bead is so hot that I just need to maintain rotating to keep its shape. I'm sure you've been there before. And it is so hot you can't really see the pattern here. I'm sorry about that, but you'll see it in the final pictures. It looks pretty cool. And then just because I felt like it, I'm going to add one more wrap of clear just around the equator to give it a little bit more depth, and we'll be done. So I do hope you guys give this a try if you're not, if you've been wanting to try disc beads. Hopefully working with these canes might help you out. And I'm just going to finish by heating this up and kind of letting it cool down a little bit. And as this bead cools down, because it's so hot, I will want to reintroduce it into the flame and kind of heat the skin of it up as the inner core cools down, if you know what I mean. So, all right, we are done here. Okay, you guys, I'm so glad that you joined me for this one, and let me know what you think. And on that note, I hope to see you all next time in the dungeon.